I'm wondering, man, can DeMusliM come back 2-0 at this point? Because SortOf looked just so solid the entire game. DeMusliM attacked several times, it just never worked.
I wonder. I do wonder. So, the guy we're talking about, we thought he was the underdog. Make some noise for SortOf. Meanwhile, in the upper left, from the UK, give it up for DeMusliM.
Well, I expect to see basically the same type of greedy build out of DeMusliM. You know, 3 command centers, get out some Hellions, get out Banshees, and just try to control the map a bit. In fact, I got to watch him play on this map earlier today while Day2 and Kalaris were casting, and that was basically what he did, but he may switch up the order. You know, sometimes you want to mix in getting your Hellions with Reactor a little bit quicker because it just can be a safer option. You can scout what's going on, put on a little bit more pressure as well.
All right. Time will tell exactly what builds are going to do, Artosis. Again, we're just seeing the very basic openings here. If you can, please get on Twitter. Talk about GamesCom and talk about the Intel Extreme Masters. Please hashtag IEM.
That's right.
Yes.
Guys, get on there, do that. Follow at IEM as well. I mean, this is a great tournament series. It's been around forever, Tasteless. This is one of the oldies, and it is one of the goodies as well. And this season, there's just so, it's completely revitalized. You know, we have all these qualifiers around the world. We have all these great players flying in to play in it, and a great new format for them to fight through.
Absolutely. And, you know, of course, guys, if you have the chance, you are able to play Heart of the Swarm at Gamescom, so definitely check that out.
Yes, go and do that.
If you're watching the stream, you're just unlucky.
Sorry,
you
guys.
You should have come to Gamescom.
Yeah, I guess you guys should have come here. I don't know what you were doing.
All right, so we have the command center now on the way. And again, these are just very macro-oriented builds, very safe. When we say macro, we mean focusing on the economics of the game, trying to get a solid, you know, mid-game and late game, getting that tech tree, getting those bases up, and making what is essentially, a long, dramatic game.
Yeah. Well, DeMusliM, will you throw down a couple gases, or are you waiting? It looks like he is, in fact, waiting right now to throw up another command center, most likely. Whereas, in the meantime, SortOf getting a gas pretty quickly once again. May just be going for that quick speed for safety.
And by the way, if you're wondering, and this is for the noobs out there, because I know we got a lot of diehard fans, we got a lot of noobs here at Gamescom too. As far as StarCraft 2 goes, this is a neutral depot that we see here, and that's why he's attacking it. That's no mistake. And the reason for that is because there was a trick where you could put 2 bunkers at the bottom of the ramp here, actually wall that off from the Zerg and bunker rush the hatchery. So, you know, we patched that up a little bit.
Well, the 3rd command center is on the way, Tasteless, so he is going for that super hyper greedy build once again. But you know what? It works out pretty well. SortOf is a droner, man. He does not just sit around and attack very often. And as long as he takes his drones off of gas when he reaches 100, as most Zergs do with this build, then DeMuslim's going to be completely safe with what he's chosen to do.
All right, so let's see if he does just that. He's at 100 now. Will he remove them?
Oh, maybe he hasn't noticed yet. He is keeping them on so far, so this could be something else.
Yeah, I'll come back and check in a minute, but yeah, so far he's going to continue to mine that gas.
Well, if he suspects the exact same build out of DeMusliM, that could be a great choice, but no, he's now finally taking the drones off of gas at this point.
All right, so he is actually going for what we were talking about. Meanwhile, continuing to drone up, Ling speed on the way. And let's see how many drones we have here. 35 right now to the 26 for the Terran. Don't forget, Terran does have mules as well. 3rd base on the way here for the Zerg.
Yep. And it looks like we are just kind of seeing an exact rematch from last game, but on a different map. Now, this map should be just a little bit better for DeMusliM to do this on. You know, the map is a lot shorter. He's going to have an easier time actually attacking areas. Last game, it took him so long to get across the map that SortOf had time for things like spine crawlers to finish, for queens to walk over and help against the Banshee. And all those little things really count for a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, we got the gases coming up here, and it's going to be tech mode.
Oh, you know what? This is interesting. The Baneling Nest is coming up, as we see right here. A couple Evos going up as well. Now, the Baneling Nest doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see some sort of craziness or all in. You know, this could just be another build similar to the last one, but last game he got that Roach Warren just for a few defensive Roaches that he utilized very well all game. Of course, on this map, the Roach is not going to be quite as useful. You want the Roaches on a longer map.
Now with the Banshee coming out here, it's going to be really, really handy for the harass right up here at the front. You know, with the Hellions, again, Hellions are good, but with the Queen range upgrade, you can't quite do the damage you could do before because you can't really kite the Queens. And as you can see, Queen's much more threatening since that patch. They're now chased out. He's going to have to wait until he has some more Hellions and Banshees.
That's right. Now we do have 1-1 on the way for SortOf, and he's made a decent amount of lings right now. He's got 18 out on the map. If he makes more than that, then we should see some aggression. But at 18, he might just do a little bit of poking perhaps and try to catch the Hellions off guard, because as Zerg, if you can surround that first group of Hellions, you are just in beautiful shape.
Absolutely. All right, so the upgrades now. The 1-1 is on the way. Still got a little bit of time there. Gassing up even more heavily. Let's check the worker count again. 55 to 50. And I was about to ask, do you think we're going to see this command center move over there? But it looks like now it's time.
Yes, I think we will see.
You want to do that when you have enough Hellions out that you could basically deny any links from coming over here and trying to kill your SCVs.
Yeah, DeMusliM basically has map control right now, but SortOf is pushing back. This is a nice little attack, getting a couple creep tumors. That's actually a great move there by DeMusliM.
Yeah, he's getting those creep tumors that are headed towards the fourth base. Very nicely done.
Well, right now, SortOf just kind of zoning everything out. It's interesting that he's continuing to make a good amount of Zerglings in his hat. He's made actually a decent amount of Banes. It looks like he's expecting another attack like DeMusliM did before with, you know, maybe a couple Marauders, a handful of Marines, Banshee, and some Hellions. And if that were the case, you surround everything with those Lings, you let the Banelings hit, and you just crush it. But DeMusliM not being as aggressive this game. He knew it didn't work last game, so he's being a little bit more careful.
All right, the infestation pit has just now started. It's over here. Meanwhile, it looks like SortOf, because of the harassment in this location, is now going to take this as his fourth base. Now, do you think this is a safe location, Artosis?
You know, as a Zerg player, you want to take that high ground one, but as you said, Tasteless, the harassment over there, the attacks over there, they've been too powerful. And so it's more important when you get the fourth base up as opposed to where it is. Worry about holding it after you actually have it. So it's going to be harder to hold over there, but at least he can get it started.
Well, now we have DeMusliM moving out. When you're moving out around a little bit over 100 supply, you got to be very careful in each engagement, because if you lose your army, you're going to have major setbacks here. This is not a really beefy army. He's basically here to try to take on these creep tumors. Now, there were some Banelings making, but unfortunately for DeMusliM, he did not move towards them. He could have taken those out easily.
Well, now the other Lings and Banes are coming up. He may go ahead for a surround here and try to hit the Banelings into it. Looks like he's going to wait for some more units, but here we go. This is really a committal, and those Hellions in pretty good spots. Can SortOf actually do a surround?
Really nice micro, but he's going to try to block it off. He needs to pick up.
It looks like he will surround a good amount of these units, and the Baneling's going to have to turn around. That was actually really nice micro by both players there.
The Banshee continuing to pick off Banelings. Banelings retreating now. This is not good news.
No, it is not. SortOf right now getting a lot of drones going up the Hive. No Spire though, so it looks like we will see him go either into just 3-3 and Adrenal Glands or possibly into Ultralisks.
All right, he's going to move around here now. Remember, you got to be careful when you're on that creep, especially when you're this deep in. We have a lot more Banelings. So let me check the unit counter again. Actually only 6 Banelings out, and 24 Lings. Meanwhile, DeMusliM having a very dominant position here. He's doing a great job pushing.
He really is. He's even started his next base. Both players have 2-2 about to finish, but the Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. Baneling speed about halfway done. When all these upgrades finish for SortOf, he's going to be pretty fearsome for a bit, but DeMuslim's, as you said, he's still in a lead position. He's got more supply here, and you never want that at Zerg.
Nice fungal there, taking up those units that were split up a little bit. And by the way, 2 Queens taken out. Right now, SortOf being very patient, handling himself very well here. Now the problem for him, well, that thought, moving in here again. Baneling's now connecting. Bungle's being thrown down, but DeMusliM is too good at splitting up his army.
That's right, and in fact, going after this hatchery now, this fourth base sort of cannot lose this. If he loses this, it's going to be almost impossible to come back, and it does go down.
All right, he takes that out. Meanwhile, a counterattack with some links. Probably not going to do enough here. Now going towards the third base here for the Terran. Meanwhile, Zerg taking another base right over here.
All right, well, I mean, the Lings are doing some decent damage to the mineral line of DeMusliM at the third, but he will clean that up as well. And look at these supplies, 176 against 114. I mean, SortOf is in the worst spot that you could imagine at this point.
Yeah, it looks like this could be the beginning of the end here. He's breached the base. Ironically, the buildings that were meant to be helpful in defensive positioning now making it a little bit harder here for SortOf to take out those Terran units. We have another Doom push coming down here from the top to the bottom. By the way, getting a lot more tech labs. He's saying, you know what, the only threat in this game is going to be Banelings. So he's going to have a lot of siege tanks to be able to take those out easy peasy.
Yeah. What can SortOf really do here? I mean, he's getting some ultras. He has to get like 2 or 3 perfect engagements, I feel like. DeMusliM is, look at that, forces another cancel on the third. These two have basically been on 3 base versus 3 base for the majority of this game.
Now he does have the additional command centers coming up here, so if he can get those over here, that'll be good news. But again, as Artosa said, it is just 3 base versus 3 base. So, you know, we'll have to see. Supplies not too far apart either here. Now notice as he's splitting up his army, he just wants to force a cancel. Let's see if he pulls it off.
Oh man, I think he's going to taste these Marauders, dealing so much damage to it. And in fact, he does. So now SortOf has to decide, does he try to turn this back into a macro game, or does he just go?
And I don't know. I feel like basically DeMusliM is just going to try to wait him out, you know?
Yeah.
He's just going to keep waiting for that fourth base to try to be made. As we see, it's about to be made right here. Drone on the way. There he is now. He's just going to keep denying this fourth base, either right before it finishes or right as it finishes. And it seems to be a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, for sure. We do have DeMusliM getting ready to take that fourth, as you said, Tasteless. And if he takes that and holds it before SortOf can secure his fourth again, that's Zerg players don't like this, basically, okay? Zerg needs more bases than Terran, and DeMusliM has done a great job utilizing this map, as we mentioned. He's doing kind of a similar strategy to what we saw on Daybreak, but Daybreak's so big that it's a lot easier for SortOf to get more bases, whereas here, DeMusliM has been everywhere.
Yeah, he really has. Also, nice positioning here, as you can see, the 3 siege tanks. Nice arc here. Not the easiest thing in the world to fungal. Meanwhile, SortOf, now, you know, he's about to finish these 2 bases. And here we go. As I said, he's going to go out right as these things are about to finish. Kill him, probably attack here, maybe one of the Zerg's heart. But at this time, the Zerg is maxed, the battle begins.
And here we go, the Ultras all charging in, some nice fungal growths going down. Does SortOf have what it takes to kill off this army though? And it looks like, no, he absolutely does not. 1 Ultra trying to get away, 3 Infestors left over as well. DeMusliM has way too much and a 50 supply lead.
Unbelievable. Now DeMusliM is going to come in here and take out the 5th base. Meanwhile, this base still operational right now. Now the question is, will DeMusliM keep on pushing, or is he going to turtle? And in fact, he's going to drop.
He is indeed, and SortOf just doesn't have much to defend this. 1 Ultra in the main. I guess that was enough, though, as DeMusliM did, in fact, turn around, thinking there's going to be more units there. But DeMusliM is on a rampage right now, up by 60 supply. Even if he loses this army, he's still fine.
Nice bungles here, though. SortOf kind of hanging on right now. But as I say that, the drop occurs here. He takes out the, oh God, he takes out the spawning pool. That's so bad. And now the Ultra Cavern.
Oh.
And right now, you know, this Zerg player, it just does not have a tech tree. So, I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. This is bad news. If he loses the infestation pit, he's at the point in time where he can only make drones and Ultralisks and Queens.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. Other than that, just Corruptors, because he is making that Greater Spire, but that's literally it at this point. SortOf is on his last legs. He has to get something done immediately.
I think this is the nail in the coffin here. If he gets this, then the entire tech tree is gone, and boom.
Down it goes. The last few units for SortOf coming up to battle off these Marauders. They do kill them off, but now we have DeMusliM still on 4 bases against SortOf, who is mining from about 1.5.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Looks like now he's going to go ahead and make a beeline, I guess straight to the heart of the Zerg's base. We'll have to see. I guess a counterattack is all the Zerg can do, but beyond that, I just feel like we're slowly watching SortOf suffocate.
Yeah. Well, SortOf, he still has a few ultras here and there, but the Marine Marauder army is coming for him. These ultras not going to be able to stand up to the micro of DeMusliM, and here we go. This should be pretty much our final attack from DeMusliM before SortOf has to concede defeat.
Yeah, I just don't see anything else that SortOf can do. I mean, it's basically a game of math.
Yeah, even with these Broodlords about to pop, man, there's just too much damage coming out of DeMusliM's army. And here we go. The last Ultra going to be taken down. The Broodlord's popping, but too many Marines running in right now.
And he is just spilling over here, taking out the Broodlords. I got to say, SortOf did a commendable job staying alive, but that's going to be it. GG. Well played.
Indeed. DeMusliM going to go ahead and tie that one up.
Some pretty long games here. I feel like SortOf did a good job in staying alive, but staying alive is not the goal in StarCraft 2. It's to win. DeMusliM had a few great maneuvers coming out there, and I hope the next game's gonna be as epic as that last one.
I know, right? These are getting pretty long. Both these guys, big-time macro players. Not to say that they can't cheese, but they really don't do it that often. They're very comfortable in playing the longer game.
DeMusliM, his decisions when he pushed were so perfect. Even in the early part of that game, making sure to be aggressive in the natural 4th base location, pressuring SortOf because he is such a late game player, going then to that opposite location, saying, well, I got to expand somewhere, easier location for DeMusliM to push. It's funny when you watch these little things that occur early on in the game and how that influences them to maybe move somewhere else or make this unit, and then it just starts to stack up, and eventually, DeMusliM's plan all along is working out.
Yeah, it was a great map for him. The next one gonna be Entombed Valley. I don't like this map as much for the style DeMusliM's been playing. I really love it though when Terrans open up with 2 barracks, whether it's a rush or just like a fate.
That build is good.
Yeah, on this map, man, I think it's one of the better ones.
It's one of our smaller maps. It's not one of these like Daybreak, one of the maps you casted earlier. That's a massive map. By the way, guys, it's so good to be out here at the Intel Extreme Masters. Look at all those nerds out here. You guys having fun at GamesCom?
Not those guys, that's the camera's on, but everyone else, I think.
Yeah, all right. Some of them are smiling. And yeah, it's good to be in Germany again. We actually love coming to Europe. We've mostly been going to North America lately for events, so this is nice to kind of be out here again.
That's right.
We were just, we actually flew up here from Australia, Artosis, and that was...
It was a 42-hour trip for us.
That was, if hell is real, I think it's you constantly going from airport to airport to airport for all eternity.
That is for sure.
I think